vvvvTv episode 3 with me, Yori G. For the rhyme. Me, G. You know what? People always tell me what to wear in this summer in this shitty, loud, warm and loud. So let's try it like this time. I hope you have a cool drink, everyone, because for this episode we will need you live. This is a live interactive show today. Otherwise, just as usual, it's the trendy vvvv show where we invite your influencers to just show us what they are patching with, and everyone is happy in the end. Today's topic, let me see, Telegram. Tele what, you say? Yes, I understand. For you, the younger audience, I will have to explain that a bit. So Telegram was, back in the days, a fancy messaging app that people had to use still, like back in the time when people still had to use competing, not compatible, proprietary messaging applications, even with questionable security and encryption practices. I mean, not like today where we have the matrix and everyone knows it's kind of the final messaging solution. We are lucky to have that system today, which is like encrypted properly, which is decentralized, which is open from tip to toe, and it's kind of, yeah, we're lucky to live in this future. But not everything was bad in the past. Sometimes some things also turned out to be vintage, and so today this is what we are going to look at this kind of vintage technology. We are going to look at it for nostalgic reasons, I guess, and we will learn about what it still had in shop. Can you say that? What it had in shop for the people of the past. And I'm incredibly honored for this occasion to be joined by our influencer, Mozzi. Come on in.
Hey.
Mozzi comes all the way from down under Germany, like where there is Austria, and then a bit to the right.
That's actually the place that you are from originally.
Also.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, that's where the people from below Germany are from. Yeah.
So, and there, what he does in real life when he's not a YouTube star.
I'm a teacher.
He's a teacher, but not a like.
Well, I'm basically an influencer.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the real deal influencer. He's like teaching.
Yeah, but my target group is not as big as yours, because today we have like, I can see it, is it 6 or 7 viewers here? Mm-hmm. Which is quite a
and
lot.
Your classes are usually like 30 people, I guess.
No, less than that, 20.
Okay. But you're a teacher at, where is that?
At the University of Applied Sciences in St. Pölten, which is a little nice town in between Vienna and Linz in Austria. And we have like a media course, which is a bachelor's and a master's degree. And in there I am a teacher for a topic which is about, media programming, and my favorite tool to teach this is basically vvvv.
Super, what a coincidence.
Yeah.
That's super nice. So highly recommended if you're just a student and you don't know what to do with your life, go study at
St. Pölten
University for
Applied Sciences.
We haven't tried this before. Amazing. And you get this amazing teacher, and to learn a bit about his qualities, we will do this little demonstration here today, which will be a live hands-on thing. Right. Telegram. What is Telegram? Why should it be interesting for our audience?
Jörg, the thing is, I'm not only teaching, but from time to time I'm also like programming real life applications, like installations for museums or stuff that runs for quite a while. And usually when you are dealing with technical installations, it happens that something breaks at some point. And this is sometimes really bad, because the installations can be like 1,000 kilometers away. And if you want to like fix them, you have to have first an option to like log in there and do some stuff. And second, you sometimes have to do it really quickly. And for some reason, usually when you're on the road somewhere else, and suddenly at 10 in the evening something breaks, you want to be notified by that instantly, and you want to be able to like at least know what's going on and maybe fix it, or
and
maybe
have a remote connection to the installation and
kind of a
talk to it.
advanced remote control. And
Okay.
that was why a few years ago, it's 1.5 years ago, I thought, well, it would be quite cool to have to use like this, your smartphone, which you always have with you. And since nowadays the conversational interfaces, which is basically talking with a messaging app to other people or to machines as well, would be like really cool and ideal, because it's a very low level, quick way of dealing with stuff. And I chose Telegram because they had a nice so-called bot API.
Okay.
API. Yeah, a bot API is basically the possibility to make a machine talk to you. And you have the possibility to interact with this machine if you are using a bot of this bot API.
Okay, so like, maybe before we talk too much about it, you brought a little demo where we see this thing in action before we actually
right, it's a very simplified application.
So maybe we switch here before I switch there. Shouldn't we switch to the demo, because we show that only later?
All right.
Right, okay. So now I'm switching to Mozi's desktop here.
Well,
what are we seeing?
Imagine this. You have an installation somewhere. It consists of a few things. There's a computer, there's a patch running, there's some technical stuff that is connected to the computer. And you know, when everything is in one computer, then it's basically usually quite safe. But as soon as you got connections to other devices, at some point connections will break, or your patch will crash, or you will lose connection to something. Then you want to be notified, because it easily is like that people will call you and that it doesn't work.
Okay.
So if you're notified, if you get notified before this happens, and be able to fix it in like 5 mintes, something like this,
that would be
then that would be cool. So to get notified, it's quite easy nowadays, because usually nobody goes out the house without a smartphone, and having a conversational interface like Telegram Messenger on your smartphone can be really cool, because they just tell you, or the bot that's running here on this patch just tells you, hey, something's wrong. I made a little simulation here.
So what we see is just a fake thing, just to demonstrate this would be a fancy installation running.
This would be a fancy installation. You can see here I've written, okay, I got 2 projectors and 1 interface, and basically what I can do is I can simulate that one of them breaks, or a few of them break. A failure. Simulate a failure. And usually I would use this messaging interface on my smartphone, but since this is something that you cannot really see very well, I will open the web interface of this, which is the Telegram online messenger, which is basically more or less a way to talk to your bot. What's that?
So that's just how people used to talk to their friends on this.
Exactly. What we see here on the left side, which we blurred out for
privacy.
Privacy, very important topic.
Very important.
Is my list of friends, and also a list
one of your friends is
one of my friends is a bot which is called vvvvTv 2 bot. This is basically the bot that is running here on this patch, and that allows me to
okay, let's show it. How?
Okay, so for instance, like if I have a failure in my installation, what I'm doing here, I will just kill my projector number 2. Suddenly it throws an error, and if everything goes right, then I should get a message here.
But it doesn't.
But it doesn't. Apparently. Because apparently I forgot to connect the whole thing. I'm sorry. Because we just...
Did you have a
I didn't connect this thing.
Okay, right. So let's restart the whole thing.
Okay.
And we are here.
We're here. And so...
Something breaks.
Something breaks. Projector 1 breaks. And boom! It tells me, oh, there's something going on in my patch. Apparently, at this time of the day, which is 33.7, I got a failure of something.
So it's basically your friend vvvvTv bot 2 sending you a message, something broke in your installation.
Exactly. It's sending me a message, and it just tells me that, oh yeah, it even tells me what went wrong here. Just this window. So I got an error on projector 1, and the other 2 things are basically okay. And that's quite interesting for me to know, because then I can maybe interact with it again. For instance, I could say, hey, please restart yourself.
Do we also have that in the demo?
I don't have this in the demo now,
okay.
but I can communicate with Apache in other ways. So because I'm just going to fix this now, but I can ask him, hey, what's your status, for instance?
Oh, okay. Okay.
I can just say, okay, please give me your status.
And slash is for like command or something?
Yeah, it's basically a way to say, hey, this is a command. Yeah, exactly. And it just tells me the same thing again now, because this is basically the same message that I'm having here.
Whenever you're worried about your friend, the bot,
exactly.
you can ask him, how are you?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And I could also, for instance, ask him, hey, please show me what you look like. Yeah, for instance, I could ask him, hey, please send me something that's what's going on with you. And we'll ask him for a photo. And what I will get here is a patch or a screenshot, more or less,
which
directly
is the
from the renderer, which is the basic thing that we run here right now.
Amazing. Like it looks really useful. It's totally interactive.
It's totally interactive. It's
quicker than a TeamViewer session or something. That
far
you have
quicker, and you won't have a TeamViewer with you all the time.
Yeah.
You can have TeamViewer on a mobile phone, but it's very tedious, to simulate the mouse movements and stuff. Having a conversational interface really reduces stuff, and it's really to set up here in vvvv to have a conversational interface like this.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is, sorry, I touched my. What we are going to do now is show you a step-by-step, kind of hands-on tutorial on how to get this thing running for yourself.
Absolutely.
Because the idea is, it's really simple.
It's totally simple.
And if it works out, you will be able to interact with us in a few minutes. But I hear again from the director that we have to take a little break now, and I will ask Motsi to leave. Thanks. And we'll be back in a second. Another second.
V4 Academy is going on. V4 Academy is going on tour. That means our beginners course is coming to you. In just 6 days, we will start with the very basics of V4 and then use that for projection mapping to animate all the things around you. We will use motion tracking to create whole body interfaces. Like this one here, I can change the color of my background. And then we'll use sound analysis to make all of that sound reactive. Anyway, we'll also learn how to tie all of that together using custom electronics, like this with cables and motors. Our beginners course this year will happen in London, Berlin, Athens, St. Petersburg and Linz. Find all the details at vvvv.academy. Be quick to apply. Experience shows that places are gone really soon.
And I think we are back. What's it?
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. So, as promised, hands-on to Motsi's desktop again, and he will guide you through this whole thing now. Like, this is a contribution. The whole Telegram thing is a contribution.
This is a contribution. Actually, does everybody know what a contribution is?
Let's see.
Well, a contribution is a plugin to vvvv, usually, or a plugin pack even, that has to be downloaded separately. It doesn't come with the vvvv installation by default, but it's easy to find because you just have to go to the vvvv website, because there is a category called contributions here. And if you look at this page here, you will see that there's actually loads and loads of stuff that doesn't come by default, because I guess if you would pack everything in there, it's probably going to be very large.
But it's already here.
Oh yeah,
I saw it.
And one of the, well, if it's not in the list here directly, you can always go up here and search for this plugin. For instance, just type Telegram.
And it should show up.
A search result will just give me this one result. And this is actually where you can download this plugin pack or this plugin. And there's also a nice description of how this actually works. And right here, just click download and it will download a zip. To be honest, we've done this before, so you will just have to extract it somewhere where you will find it again.
But let's still show people how they can now reference it.
Yeah, because if you downloaded this whole thing, then you should be referencing this thing in vvvv as well. So vvvv will find the plugins when it's looking for it. So how do you do this actually? You're the specialist. You did program this, didn't you?
Help me.
Yeah. When you open up vvvv, it starts up with a blank patch.
Cool.
Yeah, which is your workspace.
Cool.
But if you want to reference plugins or other things that you downloaded from there, there's a special shortcut that you have to know, which is a shortcut Alt and R. So
for root.
Yeah,
I remember
Alt
that.
and
it
R
was for root.
will open up the root patch.
Yeah.
And in here is the root patch where you are able to reference other folders. Yeah, for instance.
And this is what we've done before.
Yeah, this is what I've done before. I referenced the extracted folder because if I look at this folder, it should open up.
Takes a while.
It takes a while. But this folder contains a plugin folder which contains all the DLLs that are needed to run.
Still takes a while.
Maybe it's already open. Well, it's this folder and it's this plugins folder I was talking about.
Okay, it's referenced.
It's referenced, and as soon as you've done that, you can close this root window again by using the shortcut Alt3.
Obviously.
3 stands for
obviously
free. free space on the screen. Okay, because if everything worked out all right, you can open the node browser by double-clicking anywhere. And just, for instance, this here is a list where you can search in.
We don't have to explain that.
Right.
It's
okay. And just type Telegram. And as you can see, there's loads of nodes.
A bit many nodes. So which one is the right?
Well, actually, what are we talking about here? We're talking about connecting to a bot.
Yes.
The bot is the instance that runs on my machine and communicates with the Telegram service to be able to communicate with me on my clients.
But it's basically, you can understand, it's just a user, just an artificial user.
It's basically an artificial user, but this artificial user also needs to be connected to the Telegram service.
Yes. So.
And what we need to get going is the so-called bot client.
Okay.
The bot client is the node which is the root of everything that we will be doing here today. And it has 3 input pins. One is called the API key. Then we got a connect button and we got a disconnect button.
All right, so what's an API key?
Well, basically, usually you don't want the whole world to be able to control your bot, because if you create a bot, then it's just you who want to communicate with this. And so you need some kind of protection, and an API key is kind of a username plus password in one. It's a string of almost random characters that you have to know.
Okay, but where do I know it from now?
That's what we will do next. We will create a bot at once, and then we will try to get this API key to connect our patch to the bot. Okay. So that's what we're going to do first.
I'm curious.
And actually, how do you create a bot in Telegram?
Yeah.
What you need to do is you have to go to your Telegram web interface, or you can do it on the mobile phone as well. And you have to find a special bot which is called the bot father.
Makes sense.
The bot father is someone you will find. Basically, it's the first search result that we get here. And he has this mafia kind of look because he's the bot father. And if you want to connect to him, you will have to start a conversation with him. That's what we're doing now.
Boom.
And
looks complicated.
This bot father now tells us immediately what he will do for us if we ask him to. For instance, the first command that he has here is the new bot command.
Okay.
So I would just have to type here new bot in here, or I could even just click this link here, because then, hey, ask him, hey, please create me a new bot, and he answers, all right, I will create a new bot, but you have to choose a name for the bot.
So, vvvvTv. And this, by the way, is already what you can now start looking for in your Telegram app, because we are a bit time delayed, so already start looking for that. It might already be there when you see it.
Right, okay. Good. Now we've chosen vvvvTv as a name, and now we need also a username, which is basically a unique ID that, like at Jorek in the matrix or at Motze in the matrix, whatever.
And it says here it has to end in bot, so it will be vvvvTv bot.
Yeah, all the bots in Telegram and this bot. So just create a vvvvTv bot and done. That's it. Boom. We've got a bot created which is called vvvvTv bot. And in here, we will also get this API token.
Now, the thing is, people might find two different bots now when they're looking, because we had this test bot before, which is vvvvTv2. Forget that one, we'll delete it shortly. Take the vvvvTv one that you should find.
You should now be able to search in here and just type vvvvTv, and it should say @vvvvTv bot.
So if I had Telegram on my mobile, I could do that.
Well, actually you can, and you can do it right now.
But
and
as if I had
in
Telegram.
In the meantime, I will just enter this API key in
just
here.
To make sure.
I will just paste it. And here on the output of the bot client, I have a few outputs. One, the most right one, is the connected pin, and in the middle here we got the bot name. And if I got the correct API key and I press connect here,
you know what? I don't find it.
I should be connected. Oh no, I am connected, and I'm connected to vvvvTv bot.
Now I find it. Okay, I have to really type vvvvTv bot, otherwise I didn't find it.
And then just click it. I will do the same here. So
on it, yeah.
vvvvTv bot, and this will be probably the vvvvTv bot, which I can connect to now, and you can do as well if you want to. So I got a communication started now. So, but as you can see, the bot client here, it doesn't have a lot of output. It just tells me, hey, I'm connected to the vvvvTv bot, but I'd like to somehow communicate with it. So the most basic communication that we could do is just, receive messages from me, for instance, or from you maybe, and send some messages back if you want.
Okay, let's start with the receive.
Okay, there is a node that's called receive. There's lots of receive nodes actually. If you look closely, there's receive audio, text, photos, stickers, whatever, but we'll start with receive text, which is the simplest one. And receive text as a node has a few outputs. It has a text that it can receive. It has, for instance, a user ID that will be the person communicating with the bot. And it also will have like a bang that will tell us if something received. And now if I receive this, if I connect this bot to the bot client, then the bot client will take care of every message that will be sent from...
So I can...
Yeah.
Can I be the first?
You can be the first. Ah. Some guy called
someone else must have sent something.
Oh yeah.
Already?
Jörg is so handsome. Can we increase the size of this so that all the world can see this?
Nice, thanks.
Right.
Wow, but so like that was already magic. Someone sent a message to our patch here.
Yeah, probably. Who could this someone be? I don't know. But since we only received this now one message, we want to make this go away by sending another message from here to show you that it's actually working. And boom, we got it here. Who could this be? Well,
so the challenge is now really to see if anyone else is listening to this while we do it live, and see if they would also send us something.
I think we should only continue if somebody sends something.
Nah. What would be the next thing we want to do?
Well, if somebody sends something to the bot, that's kind of, hey, bot, talk to me. Yeah. And the bot says, hey, I want to talk back somehow. Yeah. So he needs to reply in a way. Yeah, and well, the counterpart to, the bot lies.
What?
No, the bot doesn't lie. The bot is just a messenger. He's just a messenger. Well, and
so it works.
It kind of works.
We
need to send something
back,
which is a node that we need, which is called send text. Well, who could have guessed? And send text actually needs as an input the bot client again.
Again.
So the leftmost pin is the bot client.
Easy.
It's the text that we want to send. The text could be
Yourself type, like yourself.
yourself, just like that.
Yeah.
Oops. Yourself! Exclamation mark. And of course, the bot also needs to know whom he's going to send this message. So, what can be used as an identifier to make the bot be able to talk to this guy is this user ID that this guy actually sent us here. And so we will use this user ID here as an input to the chat ID.
So if now someone sends something, or can we demonstrate it here maybe?
Yeah, I will just get my own user ID, which is something I need to write here. So I wrote ASDF here now, and my user ID here is now connected to this here. So if I will send something back, it
Boom.
tells me yourself.
Cool.
Cool. So, what could we do with that?
Let's leave that to the people watching. But so now if you connect it, like everyone who sends us something would receive something back immediately. Like
Not yet, because I have to send it manually right now. But of course,
Exactly,
if I
that-
just
yeah.
receive, if I just would connect the receive bank to the send bank, then immediately you will get something back.
Yeah. So
So,
since
do this
apparently
again.
everyone fell asleep already,
so I will just create something out of this text here. Oops, the wrong one. I will just add this string to something.
it works for me. I got a message back from the bot.
Show the audience.
I don't know how this, it will not show here.
Okay. So vvvvTv says love. So this is basically the input with something else, and yeah, let's type something. And
It works. So already we have bidirectional
bidirectional
communication, like,
from
and that wasn't even 5 minutes. Like if
not even 5 minutes. Basically, it was 3 nodes. It was the bot client with the API key. It was a receiver and the sender.
that looks super.
And that's it, and that's already super useful because this you have with you all the time, and wherever you are, you can interact with your patch by sending him text.
I can see how this, in combination with the automata, like U7 Angels,
Automata UI.
Automata UI, where you can make a bit of a conversation with the bot, even
Exactly.
like if someone says that, go into that mode, and could
So
be
yeah,
quite
you
a-
can think of a conversation tree. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
start at some point, but it will answer you, and you will answer to this, and
Yeah.
if you
you are in different modes.
can
Of
take
the
different
conversation.
branches, and this conversation, if you create it nicely, will be very useful for you
gonna
because
be-
you can like remote configure a patch, yeah, with several steps.
Look, someone sent something. Test.
Test.
How creative.
How creative.
Our users. So, what after we have a send receive text? What would be the next? So you said images, maybe.
Images, it is, because
Can we?
what's more fun to send photos to somebody, and what's even more fun is to send photos to your patch. Actually,
Mhm.
you are able to like take a photo with your mobile phone somewhere, press send, and it will
Okay.
appear
Let's-
here immediately. So
let's do
guess
that.
what the node is called, like if I want to receive a photo?
Receive photo.
It's called receive photo.
Boom.
That's there. And basically we do the same thing again. We will just connect this node to the bot client. And
Okay, but in what format does it come out now? What do we get here?
let's have a look. Actually, what we will get
A file.
is a file. But here, this file is not a file. Oh, somebody else entered the room. Cool. Hello. It's not a file that it will display here. It's just more or less an identifier because
a handle.
Yeah. But what we will get out of here is also a message which tells us how many files we actually receive, which is kind of interesting because if I send a photo, I would expect, hey, this is one photo that comes in. Yeah. But what Telegram does for you, it will offer you this photo in several resolutions. So full resolution to very small resolution, which you can use as a thumbnail.
Okay.
If you don't want to download the whole thing, for instance.
But where is the actual?
There is also an output that tells us about the dimensions of the photos, and there is also, well, there's the file, yeah, and the file is something that we need to download. We need another node for that, which is called get file from the Telegram category. And this get file node can be connected to this pin here. And this is very nice because actually we are in charge when we want to download this file. It doesn't come in immediately, which might be an issue because if you have a slow connection or if you don't want to download every pic that's coming in, then we have like...
so it seems to me you can even filter then to make sure that this file comes from a certain user ID before you download it.
Well, since in here, it will also tell you from which user ID a file will be. You can just say, okay, I only want to get this file if this user ID matches a certain user ID, for instance, mine or yours.
So before downloading, that's cool.
So,
but now,
but we will just skip that for now. And the question is, okay, what will we get out from get file? Actually, the output of get file will be coming here in data. And also we get a receive pin. And
should we get slice the get file now? Because no, we can do that later.
Well, I will show you just first what happens if we just take a photo.
Let me.
Do you want to take a photo?
Let me send you a.
So you can take a photo of yourself.
Done.
And
so what happened? Should we have seen something? Oh look, it already says.
It already says it has received something.
Yeah.
And as you can see by the mouse over, it received not only one, it received 4 files.
So now we do the get slice.
Yeah. So
to make sure
we have here the data. The data contains 4 files, and to give you an idea what is actually here in the dimensions output here. If I will show all 4 X and Y dimensions of the photos, so I will just increase count. It's actually 4 photos. One of them is in high resolution, which is 720 by 1280, and then we get lower resolutions. So if I wanted to just download one of those files, I would just say, hey, I'd like to take the last one. So I would just do a get slice of type node. And this one we will put here in between the file handles because we get all 4 files lying here, and connect it to the get file node, because then we only have like one piece of data available here. And if
but slice 0 is the smallest, and we want to get
all right, yeah. So right now we have the first of the index, which is like the smallest of the resolutions, and by just saying -1, which will then jump back to the last one, we will get the highest resolution, and that's what we will do right now. Press get. And when it's here, we received all the data, and it is basically a data stream, which on the disk or in RAM looks like this.
It's a raw thing. So
no, it's not raw, it's a JPEG, but it's raw data as
already in JPEG form.
As JPEG, exactly. And to make this available for us, there's 2 options. Option 1 would be to save it to disk, which is kind of boring because we want to have it here in a patch immediately. And luckily for us, there is a node which does a conversion from this raw data to a texture that we can display in the renderer. That means we will say, it's called, how's it called, like?
As dynamic
dynamic texture, as raw would be
The other one,
counterpart.
dynamic texture,
Dynamic
raw.
texture from type raw, exactly. And as soon as we feed this data in here, we also need to apply this. Right now it's applied constantly, which is something that we don't actually have to do because actually this node uploads the image data to the graphics card. This only needs to be done once, so we can basically just connect the receive button to apply. Because then it will only, in this certain moment when the data arrived, upload this to the graphics card. And then we have it here as a texture that we can display. For instance, to see this whole thing, we will just create a renderer.
Topmost.
A renderer EX9. So talking about retro, we are totally retro and doing everything in EX9 today. And a quad. Where we'll put this dynamic texture on and boom.
I was expecting this because I think the apply has to be hit after it was connected downstream.
Right.
Yeah.
But still.
Still looking weird. That's not the photo I took.
I would say it is the photo you took, but it's just a part of it.
It's just a part of it. And we encountered this before and we found out what the reason is. So apparently this dynamic texture, if you go to an inspector, this dynamic texture node creates mipmap levels. I don't go into details here, but it creates 11 mipmap levels by default, and then the default display is to kind of filter between those mipmaps weirdly. So what we do now is we go to the dynamic texture node and we disable. Can you?
So we select it
Can
here
you
and
move the inspector so we see it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. So in the inspector, where should I?
It has a mipmap count, and
This one
here
here.
it's set to automatic. We just set it to 1. And now we apply again the dynamic texture. And then we get the full glory.
There we got the full glory of this guy that sent us a photo. So, but I will just do this again because if somebody else would be like...
now if someone dares to send a photo, we would immediately see it here.
Yeah, let me just fix the aspect ratio of the photo. Basically, what we need is just a transform for the quad. And from this texture, we need to know what resolution it has, so we will use the info EX9 texture node, which will give us from this texture its actual resolution.
Cool.
Which is the height and the width. And suddenly we get this guy in full size.
Nice. Very nice. So let me just
try this also, because it's kind of funny to do stuff like this.
Just to see it works. Just to see if it works.
Camera.
See, doesn't work.
No,
Nice.
I didn't. Did you send something?
Yeah. Why didn't it auto apply? Ah, because the get is not on the receive.
We didn't connect the get node.
Yeah. So maybe we have already missed a lot of beautiful.
Actually, from receive the photo, we connect the get.
Yeah, but now you have to trigger it once.
Yeah, but I still need to connect it here. Okay, and
yeah, just. Ah! Wow! Look at this.
oh, that's nice.
Someone sent us a quad. How lovely.
This is the
Thank you for
the
the
nicest
quad.
quad. And have you seen the shape behind? It's actually on a very nice
Cushion.
Yeah.
Pillow.
Pillow. Yeah, that's a way to store a quad actually. On a cushion, on a pillow.
Very nice. So let's let's recap. We have a send receive text. We have a receive image. Can we collect some images? Let's hope that some more people will send us images and we collect them in a queue. Kind of.
Sure. So what do you mean is like we the last 4 or 5 images we'll just line up so on top of each other, so we'll see like the last what's been going on.
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, what we need for that is a queue, and there is a node which is called queue EX9 texture, which is basically more or less a container for several textures, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how many
4, just
instances do we want to? Okay, so we make a queue size of 4, and it also has an insert button, and of course this should be inserted as soon as the texture is being applied here. So
yeah.
I guess I will just connect here the insert to this photo and also the texture that we will get from the dynamic texture.
Actual texture, yeah.
Actual texture. So we would have then a few images in here, and actually it has already 4 images because it pre-creates a few textures, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's spread them out, like just a linear spread maybe.
I will just move this up a little
On the Y axis.
and create a transform, because we want to move those 4 quads out a little bit on the y-axis, you said. So we will create a linear spread with a spread count of 4, so that they will have the same size, same spread size. And I will probably need to make those a little bit smaller again. So this is one of the images. Now we will connect the linear spread, which has 4 coordinates for the y-axis, to the translate y. So we will have 4 quads, and I will increase the width of the linear spread a little bit. But since nobody but you at the moment sent us some photos, oh, and I also need to connect.
Oh yeah, let's see, maybe.
Textra, but maybe somebody else sent us already something. No, the queue is still empty because we didn't insert anything in here. And the insert will then be triggered.
Only be triggered, so you have to send us images now.
I will just start. Okay. So I will make a screen. Oh, there's a guy again.
Yeah, works. That was quick.
Okay, and I will send this photo. Right. Actually, I'm on the wrong bot. I'm with my old bot.
Yeah.
Which is not so good, but let's send it
So
to this
someone,
bot.
please.
Okay,
That's you.
that's my.
Internet, please send us images now. But
I will probably make the width negative, because then we will have them aligned from the top to the bottom.
Okay. And maybe a bit bigger.
A bit bigger, we have some more size here. And
okay.
so, where's the internet? Where's our...
You can also move the renderer over here, then we can stretch it a bit higher.
So where's... Does nobody have cats at home to send like kitties? Oops, that's a little bit too large. Oh!
We got the quad again.
The quad again. The quad on the pillow.
Ooh, from a different perspective.
Different perspective, and it looks like it's glittering, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It should have a kitten right next to it, then it would be like kitsch, pure kitsch.
So,
So you get the point.
I hope so. And let me see that the next thing we said is, now people send us images, but we can also send images back.
That's right.
So how can we, maybe like, as you showed in the demo before, we want to send back the renderer, the current renderer. Oh, we got something.
Nice. What's that?
It's we'd have to zoom in a bit. I don't. It's
Let's connect the camera to this whole thing.
little people.
I just connect the camera 2D to this thing, and let's zoom in here.
Little people playing the trumpets and celebrating.
That's cool.
Nice.
Nice.
So we want to send everyone who is so nice to send us a picture will get a picture back.
We'll get a picture back.
Okay.
And guess what? The node is called send photo.
Send photo or?
And actually there's 2 versions of these nodes. Send photo, the first version, is the basic photo where you can send an image file, which is a JPEG, a bitmap, a PNG, well I don't think bitmap, but a PNG or a JPEG, anything that is a compressed photo that the Telegram messenger can receive. But since we want the direct output from the renderer,
Yeah.
we will use this send folder raw version of this, because send folder raw takes as an input a raw image that we can create from the renderer.
So how do we do that?
Well, to retrieve a texture from an EX9 renderer, we need a node which is called EX9 texture. If you wonder why it's called DX9, not EX9, that's probably
Confusing.
legacy reason.
Totally confusing.
But the last output, EX9 out, connects to this DX9 texture node, and from here we get the texture again, which we can again
That's now the as raw we had before. As raw.
create into a raw data stream, just plain bytes. The as raw EX9 texture node that we will take from here.
And the thing is, we need a compressed
A compressed format.
image here, like it's a
Exactly.
byte stream, but it's already in
It's
bytes that
because-
resemble a JPEG.
Exactly. You don't want to send uncompressed images over the internet.
Have we tried
Because-
that?
We should not try.
Not now.
So let's just send a plain JPEG. So we have the option to configure this node, and when we want to send it, we also need to tell it that it should read this from the texture buffer on the graphics card, and as an output, I will create a bank here because we don't want to read all the time. As an output, we will see as soon as we press the read button, we will get again the raw data.
Yeah.
And this is the data that we can feed back into this image pin.
Yeah.
And like before, we also need, of course, to connect this to the bot client up here.
And something still missing.
Yeah, guess what?
The user is not connected.
Actually, who wants the image of the renderer?
Yeah, the one who sent us the image.
Well, I guess we will just put it there where anyone who will send us an image
from the receive.
will receive something from the renderer back. So now we connected the chat ID and the bot client and the image. And of course, this image should be updated as soon as we receive a photo here.
So let's try this.
And of course, also, as soon as we receive this here, we won't want to send it. So that's why the send photo here has.
Boom. Got an image. Got it back.
That's you?
You want... Yeah.
It's hard to see on your phone, huh?
Yeah. Can you from the web client, can you send an image from the web client to demonstrate this?
I actually don't think so.
Yeah. But how did you get...
well, maybe I can send a photo from here.
No, let's not go into this if you...
Okay.
We haven't,
Well,
we haven't tried this.
The dark side. Well,
Of Mozi's
of the
hard
Praxis.
disk. You don't wanna... So let's see if someone can we go to our...
Oh,
we got
yeah, somebody sent us some
flowers.
flowers. That's nice.
Very nice. And now, did he or she get flowers back? I mean, the renderer back.
Just write yes or no as a text.
As a
message,
text, so
please.
that we
we can really see if
know
this
that
is actually
our
happening.
message got delivered. Meanwhile, I think maybe I thought can we clean up the patch a bit, like remove some of the stuff we don't need. This
Dimensions we won't need anymore. Files per message.
just to see how.
Okay, I will just
A bit. The queue is a bit
off.
here.
So this is all related to the quad, and the queue is related to the dynamic texture. So
Yes, we got a yes. Nice.
we achieved something today, huh? Cool. And yeah, well, I guess this is basically it. We just showed you how to send and receive text and images with your patch, but of course, oh, somebody else entered the room.
Who?
But I don't know.
So if someone enters, we get a start.
Yeah, that's the start option is the way to start a conversation.
It's already the first.
Yeah. But what I want
someone like send us a photo, please.
What I wanted to show you is actually when you type receive, then you will see that there's lots of other options to do.
Obviously, there is not this
because
Telegram
we don't
thing.
only have photos, but if you know the Telegram client, you can like send stickers. Stickers is all just basically little images, small
and
images.
you also receive it as raw, or?
No, you can't receive it as raw. You have to download them because usually they will come as a WebP file, which is a special file format, which is very highly compressing.
Oh,
oh yeah.
We got. Thank you, internet. Thank you. I was hoping this would happen.
Well,
beautiful. It's a cat.
Almost. You can also send videos as video files. You can send audio as audio files. It has the option to send documents, which can be very handy because if we want to send log files or whatever, that you will receive as a log file. Basically, it's all files, but the messenger will present it to you in different ways.
Yeah.
The same goes for sending all these things. And there are some other stuff, which is basically text information, which is, for instance, text information like contacts. Yeah, you can send a Telegram contact to somebody else or a mobile phone contact. You can send venues, which is basically a location on the map, so it will pop up as a like Google Map insert and stuff like that. So you can all do that, and this is like the messages that you can do. So there's two kinds of messages: the basic text messages, and then the messages which have to do with files. And there's one more thing that we can show here, because apart from sending and receiving, there's
just recap. This is already really complex what we can do now.
Actually, yes.
In your demo, like you can send text and receive text, but you can create a whole, I don't know, it's a whole universe.
It's a whole universe. Actually, your brain is the limit.
Yeah.
But the nodes that we got here are basically the interfaces to that. Yeah. So if you want to create some higher logic, for instance, what we did here is we created an autoresponder. Yeah? As soon as something got in, then we sent something back. But it didn't like filter out who we want to send to, because maybe somebody just wants to send to me, or the bot should, if it's from an installation, it should just react on my messages. So I would like probably filter out user IDs that are not relevant, like because everybody else could send something to it, but it will be just spam, and I don't want that. So this is something.
Got another one?
Oh yeah.
A map from
Friedrichshain. Oh, Amalienstraße. Do you know this place?
Someone knows where we are.
Interesting. Leave it here.
Yeah, and you said there is one more little feature in this whole thing.
Yes.
That we can have a look at.
And that's the so-called keyboards. Because
okay.
When you want to interact with a bot, you usually don't want to type in every command, because what I did in the beginning, I was typing in a command like photo or status or something like that. But usually it's just easier to like ask the bot, hey, what can I do with you? And the bot will tell you, hey, I know this and this and this command, for instance.
Yeah.
And then you just have to click the command. So this is called a keyboard. Well, actually, there's two things that you can do with a Telegram bot. One thing is writing keyboards that appear in your messenger that you just have to click. Yeah. And this is something we can do in here as well.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So
the idea is when someone sends us something, we want to send them back, or can we send? The thing is, we did not queue all the user IDs now, right?
No, we did not queue all the user IDs, but
because we could then have, we wanted to do that to send back to everyone who sent us something so far. Okay, we missed that chance.
A pity. Well, if you want to take part in this again and see how one of these keyboards look like, then you have to send us something again.
Yeah, okay.
And because you will receive a response that has a keyboard.
How is that possible even?
That's not us. There's nobody there.
Crazy.
Crazy shit.
Amazing.
Okay, we zoom out again because this is too much.
Like Inception
yeah.
magic, I don't know.
Well, and actually, these keyboards,
Yeah, keyboards.
you can attach to something that you send to the user back. So, for instance, the send text here has an input which is called which is called keyboard, and it takes a reply markup thing.
So that's the same send text we used before.
That's the same send text that we used before.
Yeah.
And I will just type keyboard because I would expect that we have some Telegram keyboards here, and actually there are two versions of this. There's a reply keyboard and an inline keyboard. We will try out what's the difference. Let's just take a reply keyboard, which will create a keyboard for us. And as an input, it has labels, which is going to be the text that's going to be on the buttons. And it will also have some other options, but we'll just create a keyboard with like two buttons, like yes or no, for instance. So I would just create a text field with two inputs. For this, I will create an IO box.
Again, can you move the inspector so we see it?
I think it's fine here. So I will create a columns rows pages view on this IO box, increase it to 2, and just say okay. Yes is the answer, and no, not at all. And we need to connect this keyboard here, and we also need to update the keyboard because it will kind of create a keyboard object that is fed into this send text here. And I just need to do this once.
Okay.
And I will do this in the web interface. I'll just send something here. And what I will get back is the answer and no reply keyboard because I did not specify a reply markup. This is an enumeration that we have here.
And non-meaning?
Non-meaning there's no keyboard, but I could just say use keyboard, for instance.
Okay.
And so, try this again.
Hey.
And suddenly I will get down here two buttons.
Ah, it's down there.
Down there as an answer, yeah, which is basically my keyboard. Which I can just click here, because if I click this, it will automatically write the text to
and we kind of created a feedback.
We kind of created a feedback loop, indeed.
Loop here, yeah.
So.
No, but I get the idea, yeah. It's
also, what's the difference between these options that you have here? Use keyword just means it's going to create a keyboard that will stay there, which can be quite interesting if you want to type a message or something like this. But very often you just hit the buttons once and then it should hide again, which is then the reply keyboard hide mode. So the next time I will send something, I will again, it will not hide the keyboard, it will hide the keyboard instantly. That's if a keyboard was here already, it will be hidden afterwards.
Okay, so now again, if you do it now, it should show
no keyboard will appear, I guess.
But it wasn't, it's now not.
It's because it just tells him, hey, if there was a keyboard there, please put it away.
Reply keyboard hide. Okay, but is there then another option that just pops it up once and...
Oh, actually, hi bot, somebody wrote to our...
So someone should have now...
Now we have to use keyboard again. Okay, please, dear person, do it again, because we messed it up.
Yeah. So then they should get a keyboard back. Let me also try this. And... Ooh. Yeah, got the keyboard and now I press it and it stays there.
It stays there, exactly. So
but is there an option to press it once and it's gone?
No. But what you can do, well, you can remember it in your patch yourself. You have to create a logic, and for the next
then you don't
message, you will hide the keyboard. So as soon as you're done, you can specify, hey, please put it away again. Yeah. And now I will also show you the inline keyboard, which is basically doing the same thing. By the way, the answer that of course you typed here will be on the screen here. So you will receive the thing that you typed as text. Yeah, so that's not very special. But I will just create an inline keyboard.
As opposed to the other one we had before?
Exactly, which works basically the same way. I will do this here the same way. I will...
what's the URL?
The URL allows you to specify an URL so that if you would press one of these buttons, that it would open, like for instance, a browser. So you can create external stuff. So I just created it and updated it, and I will replace this one here.
So now, or try again in the web interface so everyone sees something.
So, and now I don't have the buttons down here, but it will appear as keys in the text. And if you specify an URL in here, we should do that, huh? We should like enter. There's a website which is called vvvv.org.
What happens now?
Update here. And
but if any of the keys is pressed now, or what?
Yeah, if any of the keys, because of course I got two inputs here and it's spreadable, so it will probably use the same thing. And if I say yes is the answer, it will ask me, hey, should I open this page?
This is really cool, I shall say.
So, and that's where we started actually.
And that's, I think, already where we wanted to conclude.
Actually, yes. And
the session...
it took us far longer than we expected.
I don't know, do we have it?
It's like 10 minutes after midnight here.
So it's like, again, an hour.
Again, an hour.
Shit. Sorry for that. But I hope... wait. Why? Maybe... so... We're done with the patch. I think people have seen everything.
People have seen this thing. It's not fancy graphics, but it's nice way to interact with the patch from wherever you are, and you have reception with your mobile phone.
And obviously, what we just showed is really like 5-minute action thing.
Not even.
If you do it alone and you don't talk all the time about it.
Definitely.
It's just connecting 3 nodes.
Will it be in VL? Somebody asked. Oh, I got some. Can you go back to the screen?
Someone sent us an actual question. So what's good question?
Good question.
Because this is basically legacy, old contribution stuff, which still works and is amazing.
And works pretty good, to be honest. So lots of the installations that I did have been running for like 5 years now, 7 years, maybe 6 years, I think. But yeah, it's still working and it's working good. And the question, will it be in VL as well? Well, I did some work on it already.
Because maybe we should, can we go back to the, what we haven't talked about at all is like, you didn't create this from scratch, obviously.
Obviously not, no.
There is something.
I was using a nice C# .NET library that is using the Telegram bot interface, which is basically an HTTP web interface, web API that you can use. But this library made it much easier to implement these nodes here, because these nodes are just a wrapper for this library. Yeah. So yeah, you have to do some programming to achieve this, but what do you want to...
So I wanted to get to this, that there is this .NET library.
Exactly.
And I think what people have already understood about VL is that if they have a .NET library,
then you can just drag and drop it into VL and use it from there.
And you just said before you already tried this?
Yeah, because it comes with a little thing you can drag and drop stuff in there, but you also have to wrap it a little bit, and you have to take care of how it can be used in a graphical user interface, which VL is. It's a little bit different to textual coding, and some things have to be presented to the patcher in a different way. So you have to do some curating, some other administrative things. But
obviously, the same thing you had to do in your C# plugins.
And
right?
it will look very similar to what we've seen here, but it's going to work in VL in a modern graphical programming environment.
Cool. So when will you release that?
Whenever there's time. Well,
No.
I give the question back to you.
No pressure on that. I mean, the thing is, everyone can do it. Download the .NET library for Telegram, drag it in, and play with it.
Exactly.
It's basically how it works. And then like pack it in nice nodes that are easy to use.
I think we've said enough.
Yeah. So maybe we just fade out.
Just call it a day.
Yeah.
Fade out, fade away. Just leave this on the wall here.
Nothing more to say. Thank you everyone for watching. And yeah, next
Good
time.
night and good luck. And see you on the Matrix.
Absolutely. Tschüss.